One board, 2 players, 16 pieces per player, 64 squares of alternating color, and an infinite number of moves. The goal of the game, to put the opponent's king in checkmate. This all seems incredibly vague though, so let's get down to the specifics of chess. The goal of the game. The goal of the game is to get the opponent's king in checkmate. This is done by first putting the king in check. Every piece has the overall goal of protecting the king. When the king is in check, he is in danger of being captured by an opponent's piece. If the piece endangering him is not blocked, captured, or the king moves out of the way, he will be in checkmate and the game is over. The setup. This game is limited to 2 players who will be on opposite sides of one another with the board in the middle. The board, made up of alternating color tiles, will be oriented so that the white or light colored tiles in the corner of the board will be to the bottom right-hand side of each player. Each player has 16 pieces, 1 queen, 1 king, 2 rooks, 2 bishops, 2 knights, and 8 pawns. Before the game begins, there will be 2 rows of tiles taken up by each player. In the front row, closest to your opponent, will be all 8 of the pawns. Behind them will be the stronger, more valuable pieces. The rooks go in the corner, next to them will be the bishops, and going inward will be the knights. There should be 2 spaces left for the king and the queen. The queen will go on the space that matches her color. For example, a white queen will go on a white square. The king will be placed on the remaining tile. How the pieces move. Chess pieces are moved in order to attack, defend, or control important spaces on the board. Pieces can only be moved by a player taking their turn or an opponent capturing a piece. There are 6 types of pieces in chess, and they all move differently from one another, although there are some similarities in their limitations. One limitation is that the pieces may not move through one another. The second limitation is that pieces of the same color cannot be on the same tile. Only 1 piece is allotted per tile. Another limitation is that when 1 piece captures an opponent's, that turn is over, and they remain on the space where the piece was taken from. A rule of this game in general is that whoever has the white or light colored pieces will always move first. With all of this in mind, let's take a look at how each of the 6 different pieces in the game move. The king. Although the king is the most important, he is a very weak piece. The king can only move 1 space in any direction. The queen. The queen is the most powerful player on the board and puts her husband's abilities to shame. She can move as far as she wants in any direction without going through any other pieces or changing directions. The rook. The rook may move as many spaces forward, backwards, and side to side as needed. The bishop. The bishop may move as many spaces as possible diagonally. The knights. The knights move very differently than any other piece in the game. They move in an L shape. That means 2 spaces in one direction and 1 space in the other. The pawns. The pawns have a lot of surprises. The first one is that they move differently than they capture. Pawns normally move 1 space forward at a time, but they must capture diagonally, moving forward 1 space at a time. Another oddity of the pawn is that on the first move, it may choose to move 1 space forward or 2 spaces forward. Practice. Practice and play a lot. Do not be afraid to fail at first. Chess is a complex game that can be won in a million different ways. The more someone practices, the better their handle will be on the game. You are now ready to play a game of chess. Find a friend or an online game and continue learning strategies on your own for dominating, winning, or just getting better at the game. Good luck out there!